The Icons of Real Estate podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business. From $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Welcome to another episode of the Icons of Real Estate podcast, where we highlight top professionals who are making waves in the industry. I'm your host, Karen Roberts, and today we're joined by Charity Slawter and her husband, Joe. She is a seasoned real estate expert with over 25 years experience, obviously alongside her husband, Joe. Charity has raised 4 kids, built and remodeled homes, and launched both non-profit and for-profit businesses. Now, together, the two together, they've turned their passion for coaching into a successful real estate career, guiding clients through life-changing decisions using their proven ideal method. I'm sure they'll elaborate on that a little bit later. So let's dive into Charity and Joe's story and uncover how they help make buying or selling a home both strategic and enjoyable. So welcome to the show, you two.
Thank you so much.
And for the kind words. I appreciate it. I feel better about myself already.
I know, feeling good.
I don't even need coffee. I'm like,
Oh, love that. Charity, look, after building and remodeling homes and starting multiple businesses, what inspired you then to transition into real estate?
Everything that we have done in all of the businesses that we have run, and of course with remodeling houses, has been to make things better. So you may ask this question later, but I'll answer it right now. We chose Live as the name of our group because we really do believe in making the world a better place and making things around us better and creating environments for people to thrive in, and living in a house that you love is so important. So that's just all part of it. So we moved naturally into that. Also because we had already been involved with coaching, and Joe can touch on that a bit too.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in my career coaching and training and in those type of environments. And so building out a team and scaling it from there and how we do our clients, it's really based upon the same principles of other-centered. You're focused on your client, you're focused on your team members, what goals they have through questions, asking, diving deep into them, like what's the most important things to you, so that we can figure out a game plan to help reverse engineer that, whatever it is, whether it's with team members or whether it's our clients. It's the same approach, and I love that. And it marries. It really does marry well into the real estate industry.
Absolutely. And do you think that's really separated you, if you like, from the marketplace because of your coaching background?
I do. I would say that's probably one of the biggest factors of our success. And it's not revolutionary, but it is unique. And I think in the real estate industry, most people in sales, and I'm sure you've heard this before from others, you're trying to push a product, you're trying to push somebody to say, hey, work with me, do this. You're trying to get them. And so you're always chasing as opposed to just being open and asking and seeing what comes to you. And I think the deeper you can dive into people's lives of the why of the motivation for buying or selling, or also on a teammate that we bring on, like what's your goals and how do you want to work with real estate, and the approach that you have, it's that let's get to know the people first and let's dive deep into that, because as there's 2 things that people are really looking for in any industry, whatever it means. Are you warm and are you competent? And if you can gauge on the competency, which is I think people over focus on, not that they over focus on, I just want to know everything, but they get into the place of, it's great that you know everything about real estate or any industry for that matter, but does the person that you're trying to work with feel the sense of how much they matter, and then bringing that back into it with your competency. So they married really well. And I would say definitely in the real estate space, as much as people talk about it, that doesn't happen. Because I've done their listing appointments so many times to where they're interviewing multiple people. And in our market, it's not a huge market. So I know a lot of the people that have been there before me. And we win. Not that I'm so much better than them. I'm not. I just don't go in with the preset. I go in with questions and then let them tell me what's important to them, what their goals are, and then facilitate from that standpoint, how do we best help you get to those? So I think that is a very key delineation for us. I'm grateful for that.
Definitely, because I think just before we started recording, I did mention about the fact that for some people, the word realtor can have not so great connotations. And the whole point of really, while we do this podcast, is to humanize realtors, because you get to show up as your authentic self. And I think what you've just said there is really powerful, because so many think that realtors are in it just purely from the transaction. So what you've shared with us there, what I'm taking from that is you guys are going in with a slightly different attitude and making it more bespoke and finding out about the individual and asking more questions. Would that be correct?
100% correct.
100% correct. Listening is basically the foundation of what we teach all of our agents to do. And as Joe was talking about, the questions that we ask, it's all about listening. Everybody is buying a house or selling a house. So that's the only similarity between our clients. The rest of it is all nuanced. Everybody is different and what they need is different. And we can't do a great job unless we really listen to them and we understand exactly where they're coming from and what's important to them.
Fantastic. And look, Charity, you've managed to balance raising a family, starting businesses, building homes. How did those particular experiences prepare you for the challenges of real estate?
Oh, for sure, the remodeling and building of houses definitely made it so that we have a greater understanding of what the world of housing is like. This house that we're in here right now, we bought this 6 years ago, and it was built in 1960, and it looked like somebody had not cared for it for a long time. No updates, and we lived in it through the entire remodel, through jackhammering the concrete floors in our house, to tearing down walls, to dealing with termites and dealing with everything that you can think of. This guy, when he always jokes around with me because I say, we did it together. And he's like, we did it together. Yes, I did my parts, but he usually is the one on all of the projects that is making it actually happen, and understanding from like ground base level down to the studs what a house is and what people can be aware of when we're out looking at houses for them. We have a much bigger understanding of things you want to watch out for and things that could come up and those kind of things. And then the juggling side of remodeling, like you're dealing with chaos when you're remodeling a house. You're dealing with a ton of decisions. When you're building a house, I think it's supposed to be 16,000 decisions or something. All of those play into exactly what real estate is. We are making decisions all the time. We're helping clients make decisions all the time, and we're dealing with chaos a lot of times. If we have a lot of transactions going on, you have to figure out how to manage all of those. You want everybody to have an understanding that you're their best advocate and you're for them and you're with them and you have the availability for them when they need you.
Yeah.
And that juggling of things has really come into play with the way that we operate our business.
Yeah, and I would say this is very unique that goes into this, and Charity's phenomenal at this, is the systematization of things. Most real estate agents that we've observed or that we've coached over the course of time, that's where they struggle. They could come into it thinking, I'm great, I'm personality, and I'm going to win everybody over. And sure, you could probably pick up a few clients, but it's not a business. You're not building a business. You're just the persona that you're putting out to the world, you're hoping is going to come back to you, which can be helpful, but not necessarily great for actually scaling a business. So if you could work with systems and then create them that are repeatable and then improvable, where you can always incrementally come back to it and say, hey, we're going to get better next time. We don't lose, we learn. So if something goes wrong, it's okay, we're going to learn from this to improve for the future. That I think is so important, and where she's crushed it at in helping from remodeling, but with the business and developing and scaling, I would say that's profoundly helpful, especially if there's a real estate agent out there thinking about that. It's like, you're probably struggling with systems if you're struggling.
And you've lived through the chaos and you haven't been put off. So that's a really good sign. And you're going to resonate with others that are going through the same process.
Yeah.
Other than, so you've got that side of it, you say the importance of having systems and strategies in place, especially if you're ready to scale. And for you guys, so, with regards to scaling, where are you at right now? I know you have a team. How are things going? How were things last year with different realtors I speak to? I don't know whether it's depending on state to state. Everybody said it was a little bit odd. But how are things for you guys and your team?
It's interesting that you mentioned last year, and it is definitely a hot topic with realtors because there were so many changes, specifically with the realtor organization lawsuit. There was all of that. But then prior to that, we had the interest rates that went up. So last year, we had a really good year. In fact, some of the agents on their team had their best year yet.
We had several over.
Yeah. And 50, I don't know if you've seen this statistic, but nearly 50% of all real estate agents in the country have sold one home or less last year.
Yeah.
So to have our team have the best year it was pretty great. Some of the members of our team, at least. The year previous to that, when we were dealing with the interest rate that raised, it was definitely a hard hit, very hard hit, and that played out. Joe does most of the coaching on our team. I do more of the training, and so he watched that with a lot of the agents on our team, and he had a way that he wanted them to address it, and I'll let you share.
Yeah, we just went going into it knowing that the market's going to shift, like it both has to, and it was interest rates probably should have came up 6 or 7 years prior to when they did at a slow and more incremental pathway, which I would think that would have been better for the homeowners, both buying and selling, and for people in general. I think that would have been better. That's just my opinion on that. But when we went into that about 6 months, when I heard the whispers and seeing the news, like we're going to start raising rates, and that began to go out there, we sat down with the entirety of the team and I let them know you're going to have to work twice as hard. You're going to have to care deeper for your clients. You're going to have to get in front of things at a higher level. And you're going to probably have to work twice as hard as you did before for similar results. And you need to be aware of that. And we watched that ramp up over the course of about 6 months and then come into full effect as the rates finally hit their top of where they were doing the incremental increases. Now, for me, I was like, as long as you know of something that's coming down, you can plan for it, prepare, and get ahead of it. But I watched industry-wide, not just our team in per se, but I saw industry-wise people get out of the business as agents because there is an illusion that, hey, I love homes and I love people, so this is going to be great. It's far more complex than that. A lot of things do go wrong with that. It is messy, and it doesn't matter how long you've been in the industry, you're always learning something new. And if you don't have a mindset that I don't have a plan B, this is my only plan, and I'm going to make this hell or high water. If that's not the perspective, that's when you see people disengage from the industry. And we saw that a little bit on our team where not everybody made it through that first year. And that's okay. Like it is okay because there are better adventures for people to be on. And that's all right. However, if you're going to make it through, then we need to go there. And I was proud of so many people. And like I said, we went through, or like Charity mentioned, we went through a very difficult time. And now on the other side of it, we came out of that as we pivoted. And that's what we talk about, a strong pivot. We've been able to continually care for our clients at a very high level, making sure that they're making the best decisions for them, giving them all the information that they need so that they can make the most important decision. And we have people that we do say, no, I don't think this is the best time for you to buy a house. I would rather you not. And like me in 6 years when you are ready, or 5 years or 4 years, and use me because you know I'm going to care about you and your goals most. I'd rather have that happen than push a fear of missing out type of perspective or try to talk people into a corner or some of the rate, even with regards to rates. It's buy now, marry the house, not the rate. Like any of that. That to me would be, I would hate to receive that type of advice from someone and then have it blow up in my face later. And it's because you got talked into somebody that's supposed to be a trusted advocate that had your fiduciary, your primary best intent as their best intent. Yeah, we didn't want to do that. So we got ahead of that, which I'm very grateful. So we've definitely, probably a 6 months, but that was pretty challenging, and then rolled around out of that and very grateful for where we're at.
Yeah,
brilliant.
We've also had plenty of people that were considering selling that we helped them analyze what was going to be better to keep your property and use it as a rental or to sell it. And multiple people, it's not best for you to sell it. We're not going to tell you that it is, and we help them find the resources to make sure that they're going to do well as landlords. And it's really about what's best. Like the fiduciary responsibility that is in our realtor code of ethics is really important to us, because we're not in it for the money. We're in it to make sure that people are represented and have their best interest in mind. So yeah, we've done that quite a bit.
Brilliant. And that goes back to, instead of treating everything transactional, you're looking further afield, and the more people trust you, they are going to come back and you're going to get repeat business and far more referrals. So would you like to share with the listeners then, I mentioned right at the beginning about your ideal method?
The ideal method just has to do with really what we've talked about already. We want to make sure that people can get into their ideal home. And when we're looking at that, it's going to be different for every person. So we're listening to what they need. If it's a first-time home buyer, their ideal home may be not what you're thinking about an ideal home, might not be the waterfront home, might not be a house that's 3,500 square feet. But for them, their ideal situation is to get a home that they can live in for 5 years. They can maybe put some sweat equity into it, and then they can move on and sell it and move up to the next thing. For somebody in our situation that's empty nesters, their ideal home might not also be that house on the water, but it might be. Now might be the time where they can do that when they've got all the kids done, paid for college, ready for that. Or they might be ready to downsize. If there's a family that's got more kids, their ideal home's going to be a larger house. So listening is the key part of that ideal method, is just making sure that we get them into their ideal home.
Brilliant. Lovely. So for you guys, what's next? What are your goals then moving forward? You've already got a successful business. Are you recruiting more agents? Are you doing more with the coaching? What's next for you two?
I think it's a great question. So we're continuing to dive deep into our current team model, and we do bring on a little bit. I've been cautious and slow bringing on team members, especially in a transitional time, because the amount of energy that goes into getting somebody up into production is a lot, and the amount of time and coaching that goes into it before they get to any level of success is there. So we've been a little bit slow on that intentionally. We have some other projects that we're doing with regards to, rehabbing and remodeling and new construction projects that's going alongside of that. One of the things that's been more and more aware, the older we've gotten into this, is the lack of affordable homes. And we wanted to engage that at a different level. We are beginning to develop that, been working on it for probably the last 12 months to create more opportunities for people in different environments. Washington State's got some great new policies that they've made that create opportunities for ADUs, but it really has to do with zoning of properties and how we can maximize, say, lots that historically might be just seen as a really big house on a piece of property. And now you can maybe develop a little smaller community that has affordability for 20-somethings and 30-somethings, that shifts away from the model of bigger is better. We need a 3,000 square foot house to maybe we don't. Maybe what we have is a brilliant 2-bedroom home that's really designed and cared well for, that some is truly affordable. That could be their first step. We continue to have this problem to building next step or second or third home, third purchase type of situations. But that's continually making that further away of a goal for people to get into a home. So I appreciate some of the policy changes, because that's allowed for it. And that's really what's the impetus of, I think we could do something about this. So that's a part of that I'm working on specifically as we work together on this, that I'm taking the lead to get that for that. So that's, I would say, is probably one of the biggest next steps. And then continue to provide for our team and care for our clients that are there, because we love it. I feel lucky and very blessed to get to show houses and look at cool things and talk with clients and watch them get celebrated. They get their first home, third home, whatever it is. There's so many great things to celebrate about the clients and what's happening. So I don't know.
Brilliant.
Just feel grateful.
It's a good life.
Yeah.
It's a good life. We get to live well too. And
Yeah.
we love it. We joke around about it. It's just the two of us now. Our kids are all out doing their thing, and we are having the best time of our lives right now. And we love what we're doing. We're working together all the time. And some people, that might be the biggest challenge there is, but we get along.
It works.
We figured out.
It shows that you're truly passionate about what you do, and you do take it seriously, and you really are going the extra mile. So Look, finally, because here at Icons, we are not just a podcast, we are the number one real estate podcast network globally. And we're passionate about making podcasting accessible to, well, realtors, brokers, investors, mortgage lenders. You too. Core, if you guys had your own podcast, what do you think you'd call it?
I think it would have to line up with our team name. It'd have to be
Yeah.
something with living well,
Yeah.
something along those lines.
About life, relationship, real estate, living together for 32 years. That's a good story. I'm grateful.
Fantastic. And for the listeners then, what area are you covering, guys?
Everything south of Seattle in Washington State. So South Puget Sound areas that incorporates Tacoma, Olympia, Lacey, Tumwater, Bonnie Lake area, but basically south of Seattle is where our primary focus is. Yeah.
Brilliant. So if any of the listeners are looking to buy or sell in your area, how do they reach you? Where do they find you?
They can find us in multiple places. We have a YouTube channel called Living in Olympia and Tacoma, and then they can get to know us even more there. And they can also look us up at livewellhomegroup.com. They can Google Joe and Charity Slawter. There's everything. Put it in, you'll find us.
Awesome. Guys, seriously, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to speak with me. Yeah, this has been a fun one. And to the listeners, I will be back next time with the Icons of Real Estate. Bye for now.
Thank you so much.